So welcome to our little gardening video. So it's the time of year that we start to plant seeds and beans, isn't it? And we thought we'd show you how we plant things sometimes in cardboard tubes. You can have your cardboard tube in a little plant pot, or we've used these square, we're recycling things really, that we got plugs of plants in at one point, and you put the cardboard tube in the container. And the reason we use cardboard tubes is that when your plant has turned into a seedling, when your seed has turned into a seedling, you can pop the whole thing in the ground and the cardboard tube will protect the seedling until it rots away. So I've filled these ones up already, and I'm just going to fill this one up with, what's this called, Mike?
Potting compost.
And why do we use potting compost?
Potting compost is basically a very fine kind of compost, so the individual grains are quite small, and that means that it stops there being very sort of large air holes that can fill with water, because what you need for your compost is kind of nicely damp and with small holes to allow some drainage through.
Okay.
But you also need the small grains so that the seed is in contact with the compost in order to help it to germinate.
And how far up the tube do I need to put the compost?
So the compost needs to be fairly near the top, so get in as much as you can, and then that gives once the seedling germinates, then it's got maximum sort of growing room for the roots.
Okay.
So these the inside of toilet roll tubes are great for growing things like, we're going to do broad beans here, because broad beans are quite big plants and they get quite chunky roots quite quickly. So the cardboard tube allows space for the roots to develop.
Okay, that's lovely. And that's a broad bean seed. Broad bean, did you say? Broad beans.
It is a broad bean, yeah.
So they're really big, and we're going to plant 20, so just bear with us. So what do I have to do with this pencil?
So that's like a mini dibber. So you just need to make a little hole in the middle. I'm just going to put in one of these per tube, because they're big seeds, as Angela said.
How far down?
And poke it down about twice the depth of the actual seed itself. So
the seed's that big, so you plant it about that far down into the soil. Okay, so we'll do a quick one like that, push it down. You want to do something some as well, actually, because do it with a pen, can't we?
Yeah.
And there's your beans. So these are broad beans, which grow into quite big plants eventually, and I love broad beans.
You can top up the compost on the top and then water it in.
Right. You'll notice we're not wearing gloves because we're going to go and wash our hands afterwards, and neither of us have got any problems with our skin on our hands, but you might want to wear those surgical gloves or gloves whilst you're doing this, while you're handling the soil. So we need to put some more compost in. Okay. So just sprinkle it. So it's quite hard, it goes everywhere, but we're doing it, we'll wipe the table afterwards. So they're all patted down quite tightly. I can't show you, I can't tip it over because it will fall out, but they're all patted. So, and then it's just going to put a little bit of water on each of them, and it's just straightforward, good old-fashioned tap water.
Nice small watering can with a nice long neck on it to be able to position it carefully. Yeah.
So these will stay in our front room on a shelf that we've got in there till the green shoots start to appear, and we'll think they're strong enough then, and there's no more frost, and we'll then put them in the greenhouse. And then one day they'll be planted out in the garden, well, our allotment, and then they'll grow into beans.